Basically, I spend most of my money on food. Like, when I go out, I always buy myself something to eat, and I get expensive tastes when I have money.
You like caviar with like some kind of salmon?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting because it sounds like everyone's goals were around saving money, and everyone's challenge is meeting that goal. So far, are there any,
Yeah.
are there any other challenges that you all have had with money?
I think one of my challenges is like figuring out like I don't even know how to
How
explain
to
it.
make money? More money?
It's like yeah, I want to make more money, but at the same time, like the money that I'm trying to save, I have to help with my like my family and stuff like that. So like sometimes I have to like pay for the groceries or like I took on the responsibility of the light bill. So I'm trying to like try to basically budgeting, I guess, while still saving money at the same time.
I think those are good points. I wanna talk a little bit about both of those. So like I have some thoughts, but I want to open it up, especially to the other program managers on in terms of one saving money or in terms of budgeting or kind of when you have obligations, you have like you're making money, but you have either family obligations or things like that. Have you all experienced those type of challenges, and have you all learned or any insights to those challenges?
I would say like similar to Mary, like one year I just had to adapt to like the salary, like my salary, and like okay, like this is not as much as like this is not as much as that I'm accustomed to used to, but the experience that I want from this particular job, I value this more, so I had to like adjust to my salary, and I couldn't like spend as much as I wanted to. And so what it really had to do with, I mean, I know it was a kind of like a little micromanaging, but it helped me a lot to realize how much money I can spend. I break down my check I break down my like life in different facets. So I have like, I first like, try and, do something that is charity, give what I can to anything. And then the next thing is I pay myself like 10% of my check. And then I'll have in there beauty, fitness, and then just started putting actual cash in there. And so when I started manipulating my cash concretely, it was easier, like, okay, so this is how much I'm gonna go to the grocery store and deal with. And I'm gonna only deal with cash. Just because like on the card, it was so quick, like, oh, swipe. I'm like, oh my goodness, really? How did I get down to this much money of spending money? And then I realized it's like I was adjusting to my salary. So when I started doing that, once I became adjusted to the salary, then I was like, this was easier to now like use abstractly on a card. But at first it was just adjusting to like, this is how much money I can spend on a daily basis. And then disciplining myself to that, saying like, okay, I can't do this. And then it started pushing me to be creative. Like I would go online to learn how to do like braids. So if I wanted to do braids, instead of spending $100 that month to do braids, I will learn how to do it myself. And then now I started to become really good at it. And then it was like, oh, okay, I could rock this for one Saturday. I could do this for 1 month each month. And then I was able to save $100 a month for hair. And then if I wanted to do something elaborate, I saved that much money for hair to do something elaborate with.
That's really good.
That is good. Deanna or Audra, do either of you have anything additional to add?
Sure.
I know one thing that I tend to say, everything Adora does, 100% agree. But I always, and sometimes still do, forget to add like sorry if I zoned out, didn't pay attention, but like me as a part of the budget, if that makes sense. So I'm like products for my hair, like if I want my nail, I mean, now we can't get our hair and our nails done, but
Holding on to these old braids for so long.
I was like, you see, every time I have this scarf on right here, y'all. But things like that where I'm like, it still is like it's an expense because I'm like, I'm gonna spend the money anyway, and then when I don't plan for like me, it always sets me back. So I know always trying to remember like the little extra things that I do for myself to include that in my budget, and then kind of just going like just writing down everything you could possibly think of, like the first or the last day of the previous month. For the next month, you should just write out everything you could possibly think of that you got to pay for. Even things you know you can think of, like your hair, your nails, phone, Metro card, transportation of any sort. If it's somebody's birthday, like everything you could think of for the month, to just write it down. And like, as Dora was saying, like kind of set that, like keep it at this like price, or set that money, or if you're going to get something, only take that amount. I know I try to operate with cash more than my card, because if I have my card, it's quiet. I'm getting everything. But yeah, so just remembering to include yourself and just everything Dora was saying.
Iris, anything you had to add?
Yeah, just really quickly. So for me and money have always been like, had like a love-hate relationship, because it's kind of like a diet type thing. Like with diets, you do really, really well and then you fall off. And it's always been like that for me and money. So much so where I actually used to have like a financial blog, and I was doing really well, and I was figuring out how actually I can do things and have other people pay for it. Like whether if I was doing an internship and they'll pay for my travel, or like just really being really savvy about what I'm putting out. And then I stopped doing that because I started making more money. And then I got to the point where like, okay, well, I need a job where I can be able to spend the money that I want to pay for shoes. So then it got to the point where I had a bunch of jobs for different things for my different expenses, and stopped doing that, starting to paid more at one job. And right now I'm at the point where what I do at the beginning of each month is that I'll count out my debts. I'll count out my student loans, my credit card expenses, or any tickets that I've gotten, and start allocating money towards those so I can get down those payments and being able to start investing in a more proper timeline, because I want to be able to begin fully investing by, I want to say, next November, when I turn 27. But like, well, so I turned 27 in May, but like by November I should have all those major debts down and being able to go back on my proper financial diet.
Okay.
That's good. I want to offer you all, I agree with everything that they said. I want to offer you all a few additional thoughts. I think for me, like with anything else, your mindset impacts how much money you make. I think a lot of people, when it comes to money, they have a deficit-based thinking and not necessarily thinking from a place of abundance. And that usually comes because, like we may not have grew up with a lot of money. We may have grew up with struggling. And so for me, what I've learned is it has taken a lot for me to really come out of the mindset of just like a mindset of lack, and really operate in a mindset of abundance. The way that things that have helped me have been like reading wealth mindset books, following people who have more of a wealth mindset. There's one book, I think I may have told you all about this. It's called You Are a Badass and Making Money. I think it's a good book to start with, but it helps to just like really analyzing what are your thoughts to money? Are you thinking it's not enough? Are you thinking like, I'm always poor? Are you telling yourself things like, I live in an abundant world. I live in an abundant universe. Money flows to me easily. There is money for what I want to do. And I think even really saying those things every day, having affirmations that are specific to your wealth and your goals, it starts to change your thinking and your mindset. And even being around other people who have more money than you so you can learn from them. I remember when I wasn't thinking about buying a property, but my mentor told me, like, you're going to buy a property. And so learning from people, well, how did you do it? What did you do? That has really helped me. Having very specific goals to what you want. A lot of you all say you want to save. How much do you want to save? By when? So being very specific, just like we do in other areas with your goals. Another thing, thinking about how you can have more than one stream of revenue, right? So working, if you have a job, that's just one stream of revenue. But thinking about what are other ways that you can use your gift or like, and you can get money, and not always thinking of it as an exchange for your time. But like, is there something that you can have that will give you money while you're sleeping, right? Like, is it an investment that you can make? Is it, can you like create something that people can buy online? So even while you're sleeping, people are downloading, and when they download it, it deposits $1 or something, or things like that. And you'll, the more you learn about money, and ways to make money, the more ideas you'll get, which gives me to my last plan. Is I really do think that I had a question here about what is financial literacy. And I really do think that you should have a learning plan. That should be one of your goals. One of your goals shouldn't just be raising money, but it should be, what do I want to learn about money? Like, do I want to learn a little bit about investments? Do I want to learn about like how to make money off of social media? Do I want to learn how to make money on YouTube? So really, I think maybe one thing I'll do for Mentor Monday is maybe one of the leadership tools we'll create is like a financial literacy learning plan to kind of guide you through that. But yeah, those are some of the things that have helped me. I want to go on, but before we end this girl talk, are there any specific questions that you all have before we move on about money and financial literacy?
What's the best good purchase that you should make with a debit or credit card?
The best purchase?
The best first purchase, like when you first own a debit or a credit card.
So I think it's one right answer to that.
Yeah.
Question. You mean like, yeah, I think it depends on you. Like I think it's good to have control of your spending. So I think a lot of the program managers gave a lot of good tools that will help you control your spending. One of the best tools, of course, is a budget and setting aside saying, I'm not going to spend more than this. I will say the thing about having a debit card is it makes it harder to budget because it's so easily accessible. You can just swipe. So I think there are a number of apps that you can use that can kind of help monitor your spending and your budgeting. But I think even that question of what do I want to spend first, I don't even know if you want to think about spending first. Like, you know, because it's like I don't know. You may want to think about like how much did you save first. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, one of the coaches told me about Nerd Wallet and Digit. Was that you, Deanna, or someone else?
That was me.
Yeah.
But I would say, or what from books and stuff that I've read, because I was like, financial literacy, or thus far I'm learning, is a lifelong journey. You'll never know everything, Definitely. Or at least I don't think I will. But one of the things I learned is that when first getting a credit card, which I did not do, was to like have something that's like, you know what, I'm only going to use this in real emergencies. Like if you in college and it's that time of the month and you got to run, you need your womanly essentials or like deodorant, stuff like that. So maybe have like, all right, you're not going to go and like your friends are like, oh, we going out to the club, and that don't spend your card with stuff like that. When you like, in school, because next stop is college. So that's when you're going to have, it's going to be very easy to want to swipe it everywhere, but try to only swipe it in like the absolute essentials of life. And then that'll, limit you and how much you'll have to pay back each month, but it builds your credit because you're swiping, but not excessively swiping.
I agree with that. I think if you can avoid getting a credit card in college, you should. I think you should avoid getting a credit card until you have stable income and and a job to pay it off. If you, sometimes people put things on their credit card to help, like bills, so that they can get awards, and they may use those awards to travel. You have to know yourself though and your spending habit. People always have different tips like that. That doesn't work for me because I know my spending habit and like what I can't like realistically do with credit cards. So I think really, Deanna's right, it's a lifelong journey in terms of learning and financial literacy, but really knowing what will work for you. But my advice for real is that if you can avoid getting a credit card in college, please do so. When you get to college, it's going to be a lot of people, a lot of deals and people trying to get you to sign up for credhave cards. If there's any way that you all can avoid doing that, please avoid until you have a solid job after college. I know there are times when you really need to, maybe, but like, I didn't have a credit card in college because that was one thing my mom told me not to do. And I'm really happy I listened to her, but I also understand that I was privileged and that I did not need a credit card. Like I mean, my parents were able to, and everyone is not in the same financial situation. So I realize it may not be possible, but if you can avoid it, my advice is to try and avoid it until you really are a little bit more savvy in your finances and you are good at budgeting, you're good at controlling your spending, and you can really trust yourself with a credit card.
Yeah. But in terms of like, you know, how you should spend your money, the first question I think my mom has always shared with me is, do you want or need it? Like if you say, I don't need this, then don't buy it. I really want this. If you say I really, really want this jacket and I don't think I can find it anywhere else, that's a want. Like that's where where our challenges, our trend of challenges are coming in. Just say, do I want or need this? I want it. Great. So then save that money.
Yeah, Dora, that's so good. Thank you for adding that. I think that is the first question of spending. Is this a necessity or is it something I want? And then even in want, do I love it or do I just like it? Like, there are levels to even to want. And I remember this, I'm probably gonna mess up the quote because I always mess up quotes, but it was like only a fool buys what they want and begs for what they need. So like if you are buying what you want and then you begging your mom, your parents for food and stuff like that. So
that's a problem.
I agree with Dora. Yeah, like you need to really, your necessities should come first when it comes to spending your money.
Can I jump in? One thing that I learned and was taught was that when it comes to like buying like consumer items online, put it in your cart and walk away. Like wait 24 hours, and if you still feel like you need it, then go ahead and buy it. But if you don't, like after that time passes, you really don't need it, like save that money that you were gonna.
That does happen to me because I'm thinking that I want something, even though like I get it, and then I'm like, I really want this. I just thought it looked nice at the time.
If you think about it, like we are the #1 consumers and on things in America and like in the world, and you can think of it as you contributing to that number, or you taking control of how you think about the things about the materials that you have.